Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Here I have two of the cheapest watches in my collection, which I think are the best ones if you just wanted to have a mechanical one or a quartz one, or you can have them both. Let's start with the Seiko 5. This is the SNK805. It has a green dial, it has a day and date function, the inner dial has the 12-hour marker, and the outer dial has the 5-minute increment marker. It's on a green strap. And this one houses the 7S26 movement. As you all know, if you're a fan of Seiko, 7S26 movement was also used in the SKX line, SKX007 and SKX13. It's not hacking, it's not winding, it has a minus 20 plus 50 seconds per day accuracy. However, I think it is a must to have this in your collection, mainly because of the 7S26 movement. It is one of the movements that made people love Seiko even more, especially when it was used in the SKX line, SKX007 and SKX13. It has a nice brushed case design, which I really think complements the green dial of the watch. And if you look closely, if you just pay attention, everything in the design seems to be subtle in color. Even the strap looks a bit darker. The hour hands, the seconds hands, it's all subtle. Now let's check the measurement of this watch. It's a fairly small watch, but I think it can be worn by everyone from a small wrist to a big wrist. So you can see it's a 37 millimeter in diameter, 43 lug to lug, thickness of 11 millimeters, and a lug width of 18. Now let's check the second watch. This is the Casio digital watch. Initially I wanted to have the F91 version, but I wanted it in a case bracelet. I mean a bracelet in a steel case. But everything aside from that one, they're virtually identical. They are identical, from the function to the design of the screen. Everything's the same. So the right button function of this one, you can toggle between the alarm, the stopwatch, the day and the date, and the right upper button. This changes the time, the day, the date, setting the alarm, setting the stopwatch, and it's also the button for the light. And the left lower button is the option between a 24-hour setting or a 12-hour setting. It's a fun addition to this watch because you can change between those two. Let's go with the bracelet. With the bracelet of this one, I would say you get what you've paid for it. It's not very cheap, but it's nowhere near like a quality bracelet. But for the price that you pay with this one, you wouldn't really expect a quality bracelet, a hefty bracelet, or a solid bracelet. I think it's good enough. And to be honest, most people, including myself, didn't even know or doesn't even know the history of Casio or what Casio has pioneered when it comes to quartz watches. We buy this for the vintage design, for the retro feel, for the style of it. If you look at the dial or the screen, the LCD, if you look at those blue lines, the white, yellow, and the touch of red writing, that's what you buy this watch for, the style. Now let's look at the measurement of this watch. It's a very small watch, but I think everyone can wear it. It's a 33 millimeter diameter watch. Lug to lug is 37. And a thickness of 9 millimeters. 8.6 millimeters to be exact, and lug width is 18 millimeters. Now let's do a wrist shots on these watches. With the Seiko Snk805, as I've said in my previous video, for a 6.5-inch wrist, in my opinion, a 37mm or 38mm diameter watch with a lug-to-lug of 43mm is one of the perfect measurements or dimension, for a 6.5-inch wrist, or for a guy with a smaller wrist like me. This one's comfortable, but I'd say the only downside is the bracelet. It's very stiff, but I think with more wrist time, with more use, it's gonna get softer, and it's gonna get easier to remove and put on the watch because of that strap. And now with the Casio. With this one, I have to put it on a little bit slower. I have to be careful because the bracelet picks on the hair. But the clasp on this one has a nice click. And as you can see there, it looks really good. It looks really stylish. It resembles the bracelet of a Patek Philippe Nautilus, but it doesn't feel that way. But you can't really say anything with the design of this watch. It looks good on the wrist. I would even say it will look good on a big wrist, on a small wrist. Even if you put it on a baby, it would look good. It's just a vintage, timeless design. And in my opinion, this design will never go out of style. Now let's check the lume and the light of these watches. Let's start with the Seiko. There's really no competition for the Seiko. It doesn't matter if it's the cheapest one or the most expensive watches when it comes to Seikos. Their lume is the lume. Look how good it is. Look how perfect those light is. Those little circular light is. It's just perfect. And with the Casio, I would say it does the job if you really want to look at the time when it's dark. If let's say your phone dies with it, your battery's phone dies out, you can use this. It will work, but there's really nothing to it if you look at it. There's a light, but that looks like the light that you see at the end of the tunnel. But I think that's a good thing as well because it saves the battery. Now let's look at how these watches wear in a different setting. That's it for this video, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Bye.